From Bosstrack, it's Her HypeSquad, a show about amazing women who've made incredible strides as leaders in their industry. They're here to support you in your leadership growth, to encourage you and hype you up as part of your Hype Squad. Hello and welcome back to a new episode of Her Hype Squad with Bosstrack. I'm your host, Michelle Harris. This week, I talk with Netta Jenkins, CEO of Aerodei. We talk about career success as a working mom, setting boundaries, the importance of laughter, community, uplifting others, giving yourself grace, and so much more. I had such a great time talking with Netta. I still really don't know how she does it all. But before we get to the conversation, let me tell you a little bit about Netta. Netta Jenkins is CEO of Aerodei, a gamified platform for organizations that ignite DEI efforts by measuring the impact of every employee and offers real-time demographic data. Aerodei's platform organically enhances representation, retention, growth, and engagement. She is a doctoral student focused on quality systems and management, and the author of The Inclusive Organization, listed by Forbes as one of the top 4 DEI books to read. Netta has been advising corporations and audiences of all kinds for over 15 years on the most effective strategies to address inequitable gaps, which led to a 300,000 plus LinkedIn audience and played a key factor in Forbes naming her as one of the top 7 anti-racism educators in the world. She also gave a groundbreaking TEDx talk, Reimagining the Workplace. If you enjoy my conversation with Netta, make sure you subscribe to our channel and help more people find us by sharing this episode with others or by leaving a review. Or subscribe to our weekly newsletter filled with things we found that we're excited about and were inspired by, along with valuable leadership advice to watch, listen to, or read. It's a little bit of joy for your inbox each Monday. You can subscribe at www.thebosstrack.com/weeklyjoy. Now, without further delay, let's get into my conversation with Netta Jenkins. Hi, Netta. I am so excited to have you on today. I've been really looking forward to our conversation. There's so much to talk about, and I know we have a limited amount of time. So I'd love for you to start by telling the audience a little bit about yourself, your leadership experience, and whatever you want to share.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be on your podcast right now. So thank you. So I'm currently CEO of a company called Aerodei. And at Aerodei, we have a gamified platform that really measures and democratizes DEI across the entire organization. We have accurate demographic data as well. I know a lot of organizations are going through the self-ID process and really empowering folks to share their identity so that they have the correct information, and people aren't as empowered. So we're really excited to implement all of these efforts into this tool, and I have an incredible team. I am also a mom of 3. So I have a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old that will be turning 3 and 4, and a 10-year-old bonus son as well. And, I'll count my husband in that as well. So we'll say 4. I also have a book that will be coming out called The Inclusive Organization, and so excited about it. Folks can pre-order that book now at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, or Target. And I'm also VP of Global Inclusion for a fintech organization called Uncork. So I spend some time doing some work there. And I also have a consulting organization called Holistic Inclusion Consulting, working with Fortune 500 companies and startups as well. So I have a lot going on, and I do my best to organize my time. I don't believe in balance, though, so I will never say that I have it all balanced out. But one thing I would say is I'm really passionate about everything that I do. And going back to your original question about leadership, as a leader within this space, I always try to take a step back and think about my experience when I started off early in my career. And I think about those leaders that really empowered me, inspired me, supported me, amplified my voice, guided me through challenging things that I had to navigate within the workplace. And so when I think about those leaders, I'm so empowered to then institute the same things and emulate that. But I also think about, and I think the leaders as well that weren't inclusive leaders, right?
Yeah.
Because I look at that and I then say, well, I don't want to be that type of leader. I remember how that felt. And so that's helpful as well.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I'm glad you mentioned all of that to the audience because it really leads into our discussion of how do you mentioned you have three children. So it's one girl and two boys, right?
That's right. Yep.
Right. And you have all of this on your plate. You have these startups that you're involved with. You have your CEO of Aerodei. You have your company that you work with, and you have a startup. I mean, you have all of this going on, and three kids, and
Yeah.
and two of them are fairly young. Like I would love to talk about, and that's what we're talking about is how do you, we're saying balance in quotes, how do you juggle all of that
Yeah.
and be as successful as you are. So I'd love for you to maybe just say, are there any basic ways that you stay organized and you're able to keep up with all of that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's such a great question. So thank you for asking that. I would say definitely I got great at asking for help. I was never good at that. I thought that I was superwoman, that I could handle it all. I could build a bunch of startups. I can manage people. I could also manage my kids and have a healthy marriage, right? And it was really it was definitely frustrating. It was a burden at times just seeing, okay, I'm dropping the ball everywhere. Whenever you're putting so much effort in one aspect of your life, you know that there's something that's dropping, right? That you're not
Yeah.
really putting in an effort in. And so when I started to identify and realize that, I knew that I had to get better at asking for help. So I really lean on, and it's a privilege to have a mom that's so supportive when I'm traveling for work or when I just need some time to get work done. She's like, let me take the kids. Um, I had to also make some life changes. So recently, my husband and I decided, instead of living in Boston where we don't have much family to support, and we're spending so much money on nannies and babysitters, let's move closer to my mom that is available. She's retired. And so I had purchased a home for my mother 2 years ago. And so we decided we'll renovate the second floor and we'll move right there. And that way grandma will be able to support with the children and all of that. And we can still kind of carve out time for each other, but also I can get work done. So that, was a pretty big change and shift, but it was also strategic, right? Really being
Yeah.
smart and thinking about, okay, what's going to be best for me and my family that will allow me to do all the things that I need to get done. I think the second thing is forming a community of people, and I think this is all centered around help. Even with all of the many jobs or roles that I hold, I'm not afraid to lean on my team. I love having people that are innovative, that are excited and passionate about the work that they do. And I love also working with people that are good at many things. Right.
Yeah.
It's not that they just specialize in product and engineering. It's, oh no, I could do marketing. I could do PR as well. Or if that's something that they're not great at, they're open to also trying that out. So I've been really blessed in that way that the folks that are surrounded around me or that directly report to me have those abilities. And it's something that's just really appealing for me as a leader. Juggling so many different things, right?
Yeah.
And okay doing that. And then I think the third piece here is really just leaning on self-care. And when I think about self-care, it's centering myself, having those quiet moments to say, I'm not going to do anything in this moment.
Mhm.
I just need to sit down. I need to breathe. I need to
Yeah.
sleep. Or I want to pray. And those things, those three core things have really helped me to propel. And I bake that into my process every single day. That's kind of like a daily process for me.
Yeah. Thank you. I love all of that. And I want to say that community and surrounding yourself with your extended family is really key, I think, to making it in your career and being a parent. I want to, I mean, just briefly share. I became a single mom in college, and my goal was to like stay in Philadelphia and work in Philadelphia and move to New York City and work in New York
Yeah.
City. But I realized quickly that having, especially being a single mom and having this little 2-year-old that you're taking care of,
Yeah.
I had to make the decision to move back closer to my family because I just needed that support. So, one of the keys that the is definitely having that support system around you. It's
So
like,
important.
yeah,
Yeah. And it's such a privilege to have because I do
yeah,
also know that there's so many people that don't have that.
yeah,
They may not have the relationship with their family members, or
yeah,
perhaps maybe their family have passed away, so everyone is in a different situation. And oftentimes when I do talk about that, I recognize the privilege in even having that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. I'm wondering, going back to when you felt like you were juggling things and it was you finally decided to like move closer to your or move in with your mom or closer to your mom?
Well, yeah, we're moving to the second floor.
Second
We're
floor. Okay.
renovating. Yeah.
Yeah. So did things start to like, was there an experience that you were like, oh my, I just need to change this? Or did you just gradually like, oh, I think it's better? What was the driver there?
It was really hard because my husband and I kept on going back and forth. So my husband's from New York. We met in New York as well. We lived in New York for a while and we both just loved it. Once we had children, it just wasn't as convenient, I would say, for us, right?
Yeah.
So we moved to New Jersey, and that was ideal, but we didn't really have family close. And then we had moved, and now we're in Boston, and we still don't have family close enough, right? So
Yeah.
so it was us really kind of thinking, okay, what would be the best ideal fit for us as a family? And we were toying with the idea of, hey, let's just purchase a home in Atlanta. There's a great school system, there's a lot of land, and we're looking at the financial aspect of it as well. We look at if we purchase property and on the East Coast, it's a lot higher than south, and we would have a lot more land. So we even viewed homes. We're about to go ahead and purchase, and then we paused. We had a moment. It was one day we had a moment. We were talking about it, and we're like, "Wait, hold on. Yeah, this sounds great, but we'll still be in the same situation of not having the support that we need. That's close enough."
Right.
And so, of course, when we started to explore, like, hey, you essentially have a home, you bought a home for your mom, but there's space, right? There's the whole second floor, and we just need to renovate. Financially, one, it made a lot of sense. When we thought about it, the house will almost be paid off. And two, then there's the support of my mom. And then three, um, goodness, we're all together, right? So
Yeah.
there's that element as well. And it just all started to make sense. The other layer was my father has lived in California for over 22 years. And so he's getting older, and he said, I want to be closer to my kids and my grandkids. So now he's thinking about moving to Rhode Island as well. So
Mm.
all of it, initially was kind of hard because I'm just like, move upstairs. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's essentially the house that I purchased, but like, do I really want to move upstairs? It's something like having your mom, and I have African parents, right? So no matter what, you're still a child. They say,
Yeah.
"Look, you're dressed like that. Why are you dressed like that? You're talking like that. What are you doing? Oh my gosh, the kids are running, right?" So I thought about all of that, and and I was a little nervous. I'm like, "Oh, how is this going to work out?" Like my
Yeah.
I value that. But it really made sense when I told my mother. She was so excited, and already has things for us to do. So I was nervous about that. But
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh,
I can
that's great."
imagine.
She was like, now my son-in-law can shovel and he can mow the lawn. And oh, and my nonprofit organization, the kids can volunteer and you guys can volunteer every Tuesday. And I was like, oh. So there it comes with that, right?
Yeah.
But when we, kind of weighed all our options, it was most ideal. And it really brings us a greater sense of peace. And I think that was the biggest thing for me. I'm just like, well, there's no way that I will be able to execute on all of these things without the support.
Mm.
And if I do have the support with the nannies and babysitters, that's a lot of funds, a lot of money, daycare, all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how much of daycare and childcare is. I can
It's
imagine now it
college
was bad
tuition.
way back when.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's pricey. I spend about 3,000
Oh,
dollars per month on my daughter. Actually a little bit older over that. And then when my son was there at that particular daycare, it was about the same thing. So you're looking
oh
at,
my goodness.
yeah,
That's
it was.
way more than when I had my kids in
Yeah,
daycare.
it's a lot of money, a lot of money.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, especially for a good daycare. And
Yeah.
so
Well,
yeah.
so when you work with, so as you're working with your team and, or your, I don't know if, in your position, you're CEO, so you might not have people above you, maybe your advisors or
Yeah.
board. Do you communicate that you have boundaries? Like what does that look like? Do you set boundaries that they are aware of?
Yeah. So definitely. And I think the beauty and the blessing in it is that the CEO of the holding company that my company is under, um, he was my former manager. He was COO of Uncork at the time, and so he knows exactly how I work. There's definitely an open door policy, or I'd say an open phone policy. So call me anytime. So that's open, but weekends, I really want that for my family, and the same for him. So because there's a relationship, and because, I've been working with these people for such a long time, they already understand how I work, and I've set those expectations as well. So that has been super helpful.
So mostly your boundaries are I'm available, but my weekends are my
My
weekends.
weekends are my weekends. Yeah.
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 Do you find yourself able to stick to that? Because I know a lot of people, and that's the problem, is that people will set boundaries, but then they start to like let them go a little bit, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, like that's not happening anymore.
Yeah. So my situation is a little unique when you have children. It's hard, right?
Yeah.
So I can, even if I say, hey, um, during the week, I don't want to, have a conversation after 8 p.m. That could still work. I could still take a call after 8 p.m. The kids are sleeping, that works. But on the weekends, I don't have anyone. It's just me and them and their dad. And so we're all doing things together, which makes it a lot harder for me to then focus on getting work done. Now, I will say, and I don't want to lie, I do still get work done. And like my peak time to do work is in the morning. So
Yeah.
from like 2 a.m. to 5 a.m., and I probably should be sleeping then, but like around that time, certain nights I will get up and I will still kind of do some work. Um, and I'm passionate about it. So I'm excited
Yeah.
to get up and just get it out of the way and do it. But as for like in the day time, I like to commit to my family, my kids.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so important, like to have the boundaries, but then also to stick to them, because once you start letting go of them, people just expect that, oh, you have them, but you don't really
Really.
need them. So we're just gonna keep violating them.
Yeah.
Uh, so you mentioned a little bit about this before, where you take time to pray or think or just have time to yourself. But how do you feel you're able to best manage stress or even keep yourself from burning out with everything that you do?
Yeah. I think, it's me, and this took a while for me to identify. I had to identify, okay, Netta, what really ignites you? Like what, when are you laughing the most? And when I'm laughing the most, I'm probably traveling with friends. I'm probably on someone's dance floor having a good time, right? Dancing. And so those are the things that I do to not burn out. It's how do I step back into, my childhood and just enjoy and have fun. Like when I was that child riding my bike around the neighborhood all day long until my mom was like screaming, come back in, right? With my friends. Then I
Yeah.
would come home with my friends. I like to step back into that place, even though I'm not riding my bike throughout the neighborhood now as an adult.
No.
But I will hop on a plane or a flight, and I did that recently, and had a girls trip, and that was so much fun. And then by the time I came home, I was reignited to get work done, or I was anxious, I will say, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I have stuff I have to get done. I had some
Yeah.
fun, but now I have to get back to my work. So those are the things that really help me often. And as a leader, I like to kind of walk through an exercise with my team as well, and just understanding, okay, like what are some things that you absolutely loved to do as a child, right? When when was the last time you laughed? I ask a lot of my the folks that I work with, and folks that directly report to me. And when it hasn't been a while, I'm like, no, 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 take time to do that.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
want you to find that moment where you laughed, and I want you to do that again. Right. Because if we are not whole as human beings, we're the same people within the workplace, when we're working on our work. So if we're not igniting the fire within us, how can we possibly do that with our work? We have to find the joy and the fun in that. So
Right.
that's something that is really important. And even as a leader, I love joking around, I like getting the work done
Yeah.
first. But why can't we have fun while we're doing work?
Hmm.
And I think it's the reason why, the retention rate as a leader and folks that are directly reporting to me, it's been so high. It's very rare that people leave, because they're
Yeah.
having so much fun. And if they do, then maybe it's another opportunity that I quite can't give them at that moment in time, but we're still connected. So, I think a true leader also knows when to say, "Hey, I want you to fly."
Yeah.
I may not be able to give you what you're looking for right now, so fly, but I'm still going to be here to support you while you do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I have two questions from that. Did you ever read the book Play? I can't remember who wrote that book, but what you do sounds
Mhm.
a lot like what he says is, find those moments of play, like what brought you joy,
Mhm.
and bring that back because we lose that as we become adults. Like
We lose
it's so
it.
aligned with what you were just talking about. That's I love that.
Yeah.
And also I'm wondering, just for people listening who are leaders or new leaders and want to start thinking about how to bring joy to to their team and bring that fun, are there any technique or things that you do, or I don't know, team building exercises, or maybe it's just the way that you talk to them? Like what drives that, do you think, with your
Yeah.
team?
So I definitely think team building exercises are critical, super essential, and
Yeah.
it's actually something that I conduct for many teams within organizations as well. Getting people excited, right? Getting people learning about each other. What's interesting is, what I typically find when I conduct these sessions is that people have been heads down getting their work done that they don't even know each other. And I'm just like, wait, hold on. As human beings, half of our lives are spent working. Like these folks that we're working with become essentially family members. And like family members, some of them you like and some of them you don't like. Right. So, how do we not know these people? Like, that's an issue.
Hmm.
And so,
Yeah.
I really break that down and add in the behavioral psychology aspect of it in those sessions for people to start to learn about each other, ask those questions, engaging questions, have fun, laugh together as well. And then swap it. Something that I like to do is, like, let's say you and I are in a session, you are listening to me talk about myself. Now you're going to have to act as if you're me. So it's like, "Hi,
Ah,
I'm Netta, and this is what I do." And that's when I flip that around, I get to see, okay, who is actually actively listening?
Mm-hmm.
And if they weren't actively listening, then why? Why were they so disengaged? Right. And I get them to start to see, hey, in meetings, listen to each other, take that time. The other thing that I like to do as well, and I highly recommend, is don't wait just for once a month or quarterly to do your ice breaking meeting or something that's exciting for your team. You can do that every single day, every time you all meet, right? If there's a daily stand up or a weekly stand up, add in an element in the beginning where it brings a level of joy, or ask folks, okay, when was it challenging this week? But what was something that was exciting that happened for you this week? Allow people on your team to celebrate that and embrace it, right? Oftentimes, we as humans, especially within the workplace, we hide, we suppress some of those things. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to brag about that. You don't have to brag about it,
Right.
share it. Like, let us all celebrate what you're doing, whether it's professionally or personally. So those are a few tips.
Do you have anybody on your team that when you say, okay, we're doing this activity, they're like, oh, not another one. And like some people just, look at that and like, oh, I could be doing work right now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's all. I've had people on my teams that have pushback. Or do you find that you build your teams to be people that enjoy things like that to begin with? Or is there any advice for people that might have somebody like that on their team?
Yeah, yeah. No matter what, folks, we're all different. We're not monolith, and we're going to
Mhm.
have different personality types. And for me, what I've done was I've been able to bake it into kind of a daily process. So it's something that people look forward to, kind of like an agenda. We have an agenda. We're going to get things done today, but let's start off with what brought you joy this weekend. What was challenging for you this weekend, right?
Mhm.
That allows people then to, they can be serious about, hey, here's the challenge that I'm experiencing. Because let's face it, life is filled with, you just never know what you're
Yeah.
going to get. And it's not all peaches and cream. So sometimes I'm also sensitive to that. People may not want to be as joyous, like if someone passed away or they're having difficulty with family members. Who knows what the situation is? It may be hard for them to kind of tap into the joy. So I ask both things, like what's challenging, but what also brought you joy, or what are you looking forward to? And so at that point, it's not cheesy. It's, hey, and I get people asking me, hey, like, are we going to do this? Like, we typically
Yeah.
start off with this. That's me checking in, like, okay, you all like it.
Yeah.
You like it. So I highly recommend, when you bake things in and it becomes a normal practice, just like a meeting, we all meet all the time, then it's a part of a pattern, right? But if it's just one and done, people may say, well, oh, here we go again. I have
Yeah.
all of this on my plate. I'm going to be yelled at for it, right? But yeah, we're going to talk about joy right now. So also be a leader that's going to be sensitive to the work and also authentic. It's like, yeah, I know we have a lot of work to do. I know that I've been, I may have been overbearing, for folks. I just want us to get it done. But I want to take a step back and respect you all, celebrate you all due to the wins that we've had as a team. So celebration is key.
Yeah. I can totally entirely agree with that. Um, Going back to that, the so-called balance or juggling kids and work and family, is there a time, like a specific example you can give of a time where you had to choose between work and your family, and kind of how did you regret that, or like, I don't know. I think it'd be helpful for people
Ooh.
listening to know that you've had to make those decisions.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you two examples that I don't regret. So,
Okay.
and and this was bringing my kids along with me. So, just goodness, when did this happen? Where is this? Today's Thursday, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It happened on, was it Tuesday? Goodness. Yeah. Just this Tuesday, I had to speak at a conference in New York, and we're based in Boston right now.
Mhm.
And I had to make a decision. Okay, decision one is I could bring the kids about an hour away to my mother, or we can drive up to New York as a family. but I would have to be back in Boston the next day in the morning because I had back-to-back meetings and I needed to be in my office with my material. And I had decided to bring my children with me. And I think it was a great decision. But of course, I had my husband's support. My mother-in-law lives in New York, so that the kids had a chance to see their grandmother as well. I went to the conference, got back from the conference, and then we drove right back to Boston. And so that was me making this conscious decision to embrace my family in that very moment. But then at the same time, I have to get my work done. I have to go. There was another situation, this is maybe last year or 2 years ago. I had a work conference that I had to attend that I was speaking at, and I decided to bring my children with me. It was just me and my two children. We
Oh,
took a
wow.
flight to New York. That was by far the hardest experience of my life. Um, Both of my kids were jumping and crying, and there was a gentleman sitting in front of me, and he had a toupee, and my son
Oh, no.
toupee, yeah, off of his head, and I'm just literally sitting in the seat like we have the
Oh,
toupee.
God.
Right? Like, what do I do in this moment? I wanted to cry. Actually, no, I did cry.
Oh, sorry.
I was just like, oh my gosh. I was just crying. I was like, oh my gosh, this is not the best decision. Why did I do this? I was trying to be superwoman, thinking that I could manage both of my babies,
Yeah.
really, and that need attention. I'm trying to do work on my phone on the flight. And it was hard. And I had to place the toupee on his head and
Oh, is that what you did?
lightly, like it was, yeah, it was an experience. I actually wrote about it on LinkedIn. But the blessing on that day was, with all of that, there was many people that saw the stress that I was going through in that moment. And there was a lady that said, hey, listen, I just want to sit next to you. Can I
Mm,
help you? And
yes.
and I call her still to this day the perfect stranger. We didn't really have much conversation because I was so overwhelmed. And I was just trying to like catch my breath. But she held my daughter and my son, and I just had chance to like breathe and close my eyes because I
Oh,
was so
wow.
overwhelmed that day. And that was just an hour flight. Like
Oh, my
it felt like
gosh.
5 hours. Yeah.
Mm. Oh, wow.
So yeah. So I don't regret that experience because when I tell that to people, it brings laughter. So it's okay. But in that moment, I was regretting. It was very tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is like those are the times that you can go back and you have such amazing stories.
Oh yeah, and I have an amazing story for them. I should have taken a picture. I took a picture of the woman that helped that day and was holding my daughter and my son, which was amazing. But I should have taken a picture. It was too, I would have regretted
Yeah.
it too much if I had taken a picture of his head.
Oh
Like,
gosh. Yeah.
hey, my son did this, and now I'm taking a photo of you.
Oh, that is too
Yeah,
funny. Yeah, I don't know what I would have done. I don't know what I would
yeah, I just politely placed it back. I'm like, well, I can't keep this hair, so we return it.
have done. Yeah. So I was going to ask you, outside of taking them to this conference, do you find yourself having to take them? I don't know if you work in the office or maybe when you did, if you ever did work in the office before COVID pandemic,
Yeah.
were you taking them to work at all to the office or were you able to, avoid that?
Yeah. No, so that's when I didn't have any children before
Okay.
COVID. And then I had, well, no, I'm lying. I did. I had my son, but my daughter came. She was a COVID baby. But yeah, I did not take them as often into the office. I had support then, which was great. My mom was coming, my mother-in-law, so there was a lot of support there. But as they grew, everyone, you know, started shifting away a little bit. So
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
nice. Was there something when you started out as a leader that you wish you would have known that you know now?
that's such a good question. Huh. As a leader, something that I wish I would have known. I think, you know, and this may be a no-brainer, right? But really understanding that not every leader is going to be like me.
Mm.
Yeah. So there were many people that saw the way that I had, treated my team or treat my team, and then would reach out and say, "Hey, but do you have an open role? Or when can I come on your team? Or
Mm.
when?" And then they would share their experiences with me of like managers or leaders that they had. It was really heartbreaking. And I just thought, like, okay, well, if you're in a leadership role and you have direct reports and you're managing people, then someone saw the power of your efforts and the impact that you had on people. You're a people person, right? You are rooting for them. You want them to advance no matter what their background or experience is. And that wasn't the case.
Mhm.
And to see a number of leaders that are just non-inclusive, and you really then question, well, then how did you even get here? Like,
Yeah.
how do you have direct reports, right? And is it solely just based on, well, you executed maybe within an organization from a
Mhm.
financial perspective, you brought in all the sales or whatever it was, and so you climbed the ranks and now you're a leader managing people. So that was really stark for me, especially early on in my career as a leader. Um, and and yeah, I wish I had known that, because I think even earlier on, I would have challenged. I've never been scared to challenge those concepts, but it took me a while to see, wow, this is in fact is happening.
Yeah. Yeah, that is it's so true that people do. They're good at what they do. And the next position opens up and it happens to be the a manager position or supervisor. And they are then starting to lead teams and they don't know how to do that and maybe don't even have the temperament to do that. So yeah, it's unfortunate that that
Right.
happens all too often.
Yeah, definitely. And I think also, I tell leaders, like, make sure that you're succession planning,
Yeah.
right? Make sure that you're identifying members on your team that will be in your role.
Mhm.
Prepare them for that. And I see that there are so many leaders, and I say that openly, right? And non-inclusive, I would say, that are so fearful of uplifting another person on their team because they don't want their role to go away,
Yeah.
And I think the true beauty in leadership is understanding that you have the power to advance someone else. You really do. And if you have that level of power and privilege, why not do it?
Yeah.
How does that then impact you? Right.
Yeah.
So that only uplifts you to then move on even higher. And I think, having that type of mindset is what has truly helped me to propel. At time, I'm not someone that knows everything, and I don't try to act as if I know everything. But one thing I do know is how to treat people right, how to
Mhm.
make sure that people are ignited and empowered, how to make sure that people understand the power that they hold within themselves so that they can advocate for themselves to advance, and that they also can then emulate the things that they're learning through me as a leader, and apply the same thing when they have their teams. Like, that's true success um,
Right.
for me.
Right. And did you have a mentor that you look back to and attribute your some of your success to, or mentors, or maybe a
Yeah,
primary mentor?
I have many. I was just talking to myself in the shower this morning. I'm like, I'm a student. I'm a lifelong student.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, goodness, where do I even start? I would say, I had a former manager for an organization I used to work for, and she was the one who said, she said, Netta, you have something so special about you. You're such a powerful presenter. I want to make sure that we invest in your development to continue doing that. It's like, I can see, and she fought for the organization to invest in me and develop me. And I started speaking all over. And she was also the same person that said, have you thought about starting a consulting business?
Mm.
And I remember looking at her thinking like, are you trying to tell me I don't have a job anymore?
Oh, no.
She was like, no. It's like, no. She was like, but so many organizations, you could help,
Yeah.
if you did. And she was the person who even came up with the name, helped me come up with the name Holistic Inclusion Consulting. And I started it there. So like, what manager do you find, you know, sharing that with you? She was the same person that opened the doors to board opportunities, being on the advisory board of Betterment. She said,
Mm.
"Hey, Netta, here's this." And I feel like board opportunities, advisory opportunities are almost like secret. It's like a
Yeah,
secret society, right?
it
Like
is. Yeah.
and so for her to say, "Hey, no, like you're the first person on my mind. I'm going to introduce you," which led into a host of opportunities. That was powerful because not only was she a mentor, she was also a sponsor. She
Mm.
amplified my voice when I was in the room and when I wasn't in the room. And my career, when I tell you within that organization, the amount of promotions that I received, I myself was like, is this normal? Again? Oh my God, right? Like what employee says again?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, right.
But but she saw something even bigger than I even saw in myself. And so today I'm still thankful still to this day, she's someone that supports me. She's going to be at my book release event in June. When I had children, she called me, she sent me gifts. She's just such a special person in my life. And I'm forever thankful, for
Yeah.
her support. And then there are mentors that don't even know that they're my mentors.
Yeah.
I watch what they do. Bazoma St. John, I think
Mm.
she's just such a force.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And I'm a Liberian woman, she's a Ghanaian woman. And so to see a beautiful African woman just really pushing the needle forward unapologetically, I think is and authentically is really, really bold and beautiful to watch. So I watch from afar. So there's mentors that have directly impacted my life. And I think another person would be actually two people would be the CEO of Uncork and the CEO of Hoberman Rockets, which is under which my company Aerodei is under. And both of those men, white men, have been, gosh, such a rock. Like
Mm.
so I don't even know the right word, like just so amazing, and again, both of them presenting me with an opportunity to lead an organization and also then saying, hey, like we believe in you.
Yeah.
Like we just have no doubt that you will be successful. That in itself, is powerful. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing that you have had those people surrounding you. With the woman who was your manager, would you say that you did something specific to bring her in as a mentor, or because she was your manager, you just developed a relationship and it just happened?
Yeah. I think for me, so my background's in communications and behavioral psychology. Even from a child, um, communication and building strong relationships have always been really important to me. My mother, bless her heart, like she just has words of wisdom, and she would say, Netta, make sure you respect people, right? And love people. She would say that. And I'm like, I would always question that. What do you mean by love? I can love my family.
Yeah.
She said, no, 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 no. Love runs even deeper. Like show throughout the world and your work and whatever you do, show the love that you possess. And you'll see the power of that. And so everywhere that I went, no matter who that person was or what their experience or background, I was always sharing a level of love or a piece of me with folks. And I think because of that, there's a level of genuineness, sincerity that I then get from individuals, vulnerability, and then oftentimes people then say like, no, I want to do whatever I can do to support you. But I say the same, like, how can I support you? Like, what can I do? Because it's a two-way, relationship. So I've always honed in on that. And I think, with my manager and knowing that this is my manager,
Yeah.
like I want the best relationship with my manager. We really started off on a good note, and we were always very open. So like if there was anything that I didn't feel comfortable with or I wasn't happy with, I was never afraid to share that with her, even if it was about her, right?
Yeah.
Like we could have a conversation and talk it through. And I think the same for her. And what was helpful too is when you build that level of trust, with your manager or with an individual, now when they're presenting you with feedback, you're not questioning it. You know that they're coming from a good place. Oftentimes within organizations, employees question the feedback that they receive all day long because there's
Right.
not a trusting relationship. you know
Yeah.
so trust is just so critical for us as humans, and especially within the workplace and as leaders. So I lean in with that.
Yeah. Trust is definitely one of the fundamental and being able to build trust with your team, I think is a fundamental skill of
Yeah,
a leader. So,
absolutely.
um, yeah, I'd like to move on to like just some quick questions because I know we're running out of time here. Two things. One is, do you have a song that you go to when you need a little energy boost or confidence, and if you're feeling you need to feel more?
Yeah. So I love Afro beats,
Mm.
Afro beats music. So any Afrobeat song, whether it be by Burna Boy or Davido or Kona or whatever, once it has a good beat, then I'm shaking in my seat and I'm feeling I'm feeling good and I'm ready to work. So yeah, that's a great question though.
Is there a specific, I don't know, track or song that you would recommend for people in the audience if they wanted to kind of check out one of
Yeah.
the songs?
Oh my goodness. You know what? Now I'm gonna have to go to Spotify. Let's see really quick. Um, huh. So this song is called Kona, Konna. And it's by Harry Song.
Harry song?
Harry Song, yeah.
Okay.
Um, but I'll have to get you a few more. I'm gonna have to go
Yeah.
to Spotify and send some to you.
Okay. No, that's perfect. I
But
appreciate that.
warning, when you listen to it, you may be dancing. So get
I
ready to
think
get
everybody needs that. Everybody could
yeah.
use that. So definitely pass that along.
Right.
So my last question before we kind of wrap up would be, do you have a specific morning routine or evening routine that you feel you need to follow to be able to start your day off right and feel like you're ready to take on the day or end
Definitely.
the day?
Yeah. Morning routine would be, I wake up, I get my kids up first, but I have to take a shower. Like I have to. Even though I work remotely and I'm working in my house, I need to get dressed up as well. You see, I put on a blazer today, but
Yeah.
that's business on top. You just don't want to see the bottom. But getting dressed up, going into my office, so not just working from the kitchen or my bedroom, I have to kind of disconnect and feel like I'm going somewhere is critical. And then some water in the morning, some fruits. I step outside for some fresh air, and that's really typically my routine. I'm
Yeah.
working throughout the entire day.
Yeah. Yeah. Water. So many people. I mean, any
Yeah,
time of the day, but definitely in the morning. That's like,
yeah, so critical.
yeah, I agree. Well, that's amazing. So, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing all of this great advice. And I would like to kind of circle back to where we started with, are there any last words of advice or wisdom that you would give to moms or dads out there listening and who are really career driven and want to succeed in their career, like how to kind of tackle both and succeed in both? And then also, if people in the audience can reach out to you to ask questions or say hi, what would be the best place for them to do that if it's okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start off with your question. My recommendation would be give yourself grace as a working caregiver, working parent. There's so much that you're doing throughout the day. And what will happen is sometimes you will drop the ball, right? It will just happen. And when it does, give yourself grace, because I want you to then celebrate yourself and know that you're juggling so much. You're juggling so much. And it's also okay to pause and say no. It's something that I'm working through. So I never try to act like I have it all together, but
Right.
it's okay for you to say no, pause, and give yourself grace, right? You're doing it already.
Yeah.
In regards to where folks can reach me, you can head to aerodei.com. You could head to LinkedIn, Netta Jenkins, NettaJenkins. I'm always on LinkedIn posting, so head there. You can head to nettajenkins.com as well. So there are many ways to reach me.
Great. Well, it was definitely words of wisdom to leave with. And again, I really appreciate your voice and you sharing it here. And I look forward to staying in touch. And I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye
You too.
bye.
Bye.
Hi, everyone. This is Michelle again. If you enjoyed this conversation, hit subscribe so you don't miss out on our weekly episodes. And if you're really feeling it, please leave a review. We'd love to have your support. You can also subscribe to our weekly newsletter where we share things we're excited about, things we found funny or inspiring, and must-read leadership videos and articles we came across that week. You can subscribe by going to www.thebosstrack.com/weekly joy. That's www.thebosstrack.com/weekly joy. Drop in your email and you'll get the very next one. Thanks for listening.